My first stop on my Civil War tour was, quite fittingly, the site of the first scene of conflict in the whole war, the Battle of Manassas, fought on July 21st, 1861. My friend Jonathan needed a ride back to Richmond, and as we made our way down there together, we stopped at Manassas, not unlike how Union General Irwin McDowell and his troops had made a stop here on their way from Washington, D.C. to Richmond. Of course, their reasons for stopping here were far more sinister. A relatively small gathering of Confederate forces had been ordered to keep the Union Army from seizing the Confederates' recently selected capital city of Richmond, Virginia. Taking this city was the ultimate priority for the Union Army throughout much of the Civil War, and once they finally achieved that objective at a bloody and fiery toll in 1865, the war had officially reached its conclusion. 4 years before that great triumph for the Union, however, their forces confronted and succumbed to this early display of Confederate defenses 25 miles south of Washington, D.C. Although the Union had the numerical superiority, as would be the case throughout most contexts of the war, McDowell's forces had been hastily assembled and were mostly inexperienced. In any case, they proved to be wholly ineffective at smoldering the rebels, and the outcome of this battle, 2,700 Union dead versus 2,000 Confederate dead, guaranteed that this push to contain the wave of secession would be no mere skirmish. Of course, all of this information and much more would be conveyed to us once we made our way into Manassas National Battlefield Park right off of Sudley Road. Our knowledgeable park rangers shared plenty of fascinating knowledge about this 1861 battle. For instance, I learned that the Union came to call it the Battle of Manassas because they tended to label sites of combat after the cities they were featured in or near. The Confederacy, meanwhile, called it the Battle of Bull Run because they labeled the same sites based on the rivers that ran through them, which reflect how much they valued rivers for the industrial strength they granted their cause. Our guide also did a great job recounting the significance of the Henry House. The Henry family was still occupying this house as the battle unfolded around the same hill, and bedridden Judith Carter Henry was mortally wounded as Union artillery came crashing through her bedroom. Going inside this house is one of the most moving parts of the visit to Manassas, giving the window it provides into just how badly civilian life was disrupted by this 4-year conflict. And of course, it's hard to forget the towering statue of Thomas Stonewall Jackson that stands on these fields. It was during this battle, after all, that the famed Confederate general would earn his immortal nickname, given that he and his outnumbered forces withstood the Union assault like a stone wall throughout the day. After leaving the main battlefield grounds, Jonathan and I toured some of the gravestones and other landmarks strewn across the rest of the park. And that's how a very moving and engrossing first stop of the Civil War tour wrapped up. Now it was time to carry on to Richmond, where even more fascinating discovery awaited.